September 2024. Bell Riots, the turning point that altered America's course forever. September 2024, a month that will be remembered as a turning point in American history. The Bell Riots, a series of violent protests and uprisings, shook the nation to its core. Rooted in years of economic mismanagement, social injustice, and governmental neglect, these riots marked the beginning of a new era, one defined by profound change and reform. The story of the Bell Riots begins with an economic collapse. The early 2020s were a time of unprecedented challenges. The COVID-19 pandemic had left deep scars on the global economy, but it was the policies of President Joe Biden that exacerbated the situation in the United States. His administration's response to the crisis, characterized by excessive government spending and stringent lockdowns, led to runaway inflation, eroding the purchasing power of the average American. Inflation soared, wages stagnated, and many Americans found themselves unemployed and struggling to make ends meet. The housing market crumbled, leaving countless families homeless. As the economy faltered, Biden's open borders policies added further strain to social services, overwhelming an already fragile system. In a desperate attempt to manage the crisis, the government instituted sanctuary districts. These walled-off areas in urban centers were intended to isolate the homeless and unemployed from the rest of society. Promoted as a humane solution, these districts quickly became overcrowded, underfunded, and plagued by violence. The residents of these districts, derogatorily labeled as gimmies and dims, were largely forgotten by the outside world. With limited access to basic necessities, these districts became breeding grounds for resentment and despair. The media, heavily influenced by the government, downplayed the conditions inside, but the truth was far more grim. By the summer of 2024, tensions within the sanctuary districts were at a boiling point. The district in San Francisco, known as Sanctuary District A, was particularly volatile. Thousands of people, crammed into squalid conditions, faced a daily struggle for survival. The final spark came when the government, under pressure to prevent disease outbreaks, imposed stricter controls on the residents' movements. A curfew was enforced, and security forces increased their presence, further alienating the district's inhabitants. August 2024, a powder keg, ready to explode. On September 1, 2024, a peaceful protest organized by the residents of Sanctuary District A quickly escalated into violence. The protesters, demanding better living conditions and the right to work, were met with excessive force from the authorities. What began as a peaceful demonstration soon spiraled into chaos. Amidst the chaos, an unlikely hero emerged, Gabriel Bell. A former factory worker who had lost everything due to the economic downturn, Bell found himself caught in the crossfire of the protest. When security forces began firing on the unarmed crowd, Bell intervened to protect a group of residents who had been cornered. Gabriel Bell, a martyr for justice. Tragically, Gabriel Bell was fatally shot while shielding others from the gunfire. His death, captured on camera by a courageous journalist, became the catalyst for the Bell Riots. Bell's selfless act of courage resonated with millions, and his name became a rallying cry for the oppressed. Gabriel Bell's death ignited a nationwide uprising. The Bell Riots spread rapidly from San Francisco to other sanctuary districts across the country. What began as a localized protest quickly transformed into a national movement, with citizens from all walks of life rising up against the government's failures. September 2024, a nation in revolt. The government, unprepared for the scale of the rebellion, responded by deploying the National Guard to restore order. The clashes that ensued were brutal, with many lives lost and entire districts left in ruins. The country teetered on the brink of collapse. The climax of the Bell Riots came during a tense hostage crisis at a government facility within Sanctuary District A. A group of armed residents, desperate to draw attention to their plight, took several government workers hostage. The situation was dire, with the potential for a catastrophic outcome looming large. Hostage crisis, a nation holds its breath, praying for a resolution. In a surprising turn of events, the leader of the hostage-takers, who had adopted Gabriel Bell's name as a symbol of their struggle, managed to negotiate a peaceful resolution. The hostages were released unharmed, and in exchange the government agreed to several key demands, including the provision of food, medical care, and the formation of an independent commission to investigate the conditions within the districts. The Bell Riots forced the United States to confront the systemic failures that had led to the creation of the sanctuary districts. The independent commission, chaired by a prominent human rights lawyer, released a damning report that detailed the inhumane conditions within the districts and the government's failure to address the root causes of poverty and unemployment. Public outcry led to a wave of reforms. The sanctuary districts were dismantled, and new social policies were implemented to address economic inequality, improve access to education and healthcare, and provide meaningful employment opportunities for all citizens. The Bell Riots, while tragic, became the catalyst for positive change. The aftermath of the Bell Riots had a profound impact on the 2024 presidential election. In the wake of the unrest, the American public rejected the policies of the Biden administration, leading to a sweeping victory for Donald Trump. His re-election, alongside a significant red wave that gave Republicans control of both the House and Senate, marked a dramatic shift in American politics. Under Trump's leadership, the new administration moved quickly to reverse the policies that had contributed to the nation's decline. The sanctuary districts were dismantled, and a comprehensive plan was implemented to revitalize the economy, create jobs, and restore constitutional freedoms. Trump's policies were instrumental in pulling the country back from the brink. The Bell Riots are now regarded as a watershed moment in American history. Gabriel Bell's sacrifice and the movement that arose in his name became powerful symbols of the fight for justice and dignity. The reforms that emerged from the aftermath of the Bell Riots laid the groundwork for a more inclusive and equitable society. In the years following the riots, America experienced a period of renewal and growth. The lessons learned from September 2024 continue to resonate, serving as a reminder of the importance of sound governance, individual liberty, and the need to care for society's most vulnerable members. The Bell Riots, though born out of tragedy, ultimately led to the rebirth of a stronger, more united America. September 2024 Bell Riots, a moment that changed America forever. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more content.